How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Dukes Up. And for this video, I'll be talking about Dimitry Bivol versus Arthur Beterbiev. Okay, so my claim is that Dimitry Bivol got robbed. Or at most, it was a tie. But Arthur Beterbiev did not win that fight. So for starters, round 1 through 2. Dimitry Bivol was controlling the fight with his jab, and he was landing the cleaner, harder punches. He was landing the harder, cleaner punches. He outstruck Arthur Beterbiev in this round. Arthur Beterbiev, honestly, he was just landing mostly on Dimitry Bivol's guard, and if he didn't land on his guard, he would just completely miss because Dimitry Bivol was using lateral movement and just escaping Arthur Beterbiev's punches. I guess Arthur Beterbiev's corner told him that he lost the first 2 rounds, so he started to up the pace, but it didn't really make a difference because he was still not landing clean that much on Dimitry Bivol. He was still landing mostly on Dimitry Bivol's guard as he was utilizing forward pressure, but Dimitry Bivol, he was doing the same exact things he was doing in rounds 1 and 2 and landing very clean, picking his spots very intelligently, and just outboxing Arthur Beterbiev. In round 4, they both upped the pace. Dimitry Bivol was definitely punishing Arthur Beterbiev for the openings that he was finding on Arthur Beterbiev, and Arthur Beterbiev started to find some openings himself as he kept moving forward and throwing jabs and body punches. I lean towards Dimitry Bivol for this round because he landed the harder, cleaner punches. Well, he landed the most. Round 5 goes to Arthur Beterbiev. He consistently moves forward, throws his jabs and his rear hooks, and he scores by splitting Dimitry Bivol's guard and landing rear hooks on Dimitry Bivol's body. Unfortunately, Dimitry Bivol seemed to have fatigued or slowed down because he wasn't fighting like he was in the last 4 rounds. He was fighting in spurts, very small spurts, but he kept his guard up and was just as elusive as possible. But unfortunately, that wasn't enough for him to win the round. Arthur Beterbiev controlled that one. Round 6 is basically the same as round 5. Both fighters basically did the same things, and Dimitry Bivol is still fighting in small spurts while Arthur Beterbiev is moving forward and consistently using his jab and throwing rear hooks, and sometimes, hooks to Dimitry Bivol's face and not just his body. Now, round 7 goes to Dimitry Bivol. I guess he got some stamina back, because I suppose in those last few rounds, Arthur Beterbiev might have landed big on Dimitry Bivol, or the accumulation of punches from Arthur Beterbiev's power might have slowed Dimitry Bivol down. But in this round, Dimitry Bivol seemed to have gotten Arthur Beterbiev's timing down, so he started to land more combinations and fight more aggressively. But Arthur Beterbiev did have those last 40 seconds down when Dimitry Bivol closed the distance and started trading with him. And he seemed to have landed big enough so that Dimitry Bivol kind of took a step back and just shelled up. But it wasn't enough to win him the round. So that round 7, goes to Dimitry Bivol. Round 8 is a hard round to score. Both fighters were fighting very moderately. The pace really took a step back, but I feel like Arthur, I'm leaning towards Arthur for that round because I feel like he did enough to edge it out, since Dimitry Bivol was fighting he was just not doing enough. He just simply was not doing enough, to control that round. So I lean towards Arthur Beterbiev for round 8. In round 9, Dimitry Bivol got his stamina back. He fought like he did in that last round where he was, really throwing combinations and really putting it on Arthur Beterbiev with forward pressure and aggression. And Arthur Beterbiev this was one of the bad rounds for Arthur Beterbiev because he was just really landing on Dimitry Bivol's guard. He really wasn't finding his shots. And Dimitry was just really elusive this round. Dimitry Bivol dominated round 9. In round 10, Arthur Beterbiev was fighting his same fight, but this time, because Dimitry Bivol seemed to have calmed down and started fighting in spurts again, Arthur Beterbiev was able to find his shots and land with his forward pressure, those hooks to the body and the face, and just constantly moving forward, like I said, forward pressure. And he just controlled this round. Round 10 goes to Arthur Beterbiev. Round 10 was basically the same as round 9, but Arthur Beterbiev had a lot more pressure in this round. He was really, taking advantage of Dimitry Bivol on the ropes. Although Dimitry Bivol did not stay there too long. And unfortunately, Dimitry Bivol was still fighting in small spurts. I really do think the power that Arthur Beterbiev has was really taking a toll on Dimitry Bivol, because normally Dimitry Bivol's cardio is really, really good. He's able to consistently fight the same throughout 12 rounds, but he's never fought somebody that hits as hard as Arthur Beterbiev. So as the rounds were going by and as he was constantly getting hit, the power was just draining his stamina, because Arthur Beterbiev hits hard. He hits freaking hard, yeah. So round 11 goes to Arthur Beterbiev. Okay, round 12 was very back and forth. They were both landing clean. They were both doing what they could do to edge it out. Arthur Beterbiev, was fighting a lot more aggressively with the forward pressure, throwing his hooks, constantly throwing his jabs, pressuring Dimitry Bivol to the ropes. Dimitry was being as elusive as possible, throwing combinations when he could, sticking and moving, not letting Arthur Beterbiev pressure him to the ropes too much, clinching when he felt like he needed to clinch. So for this round, I lean towards Dimitry Bivol. I feel like he did enough to get the win, but I can see how somebody would say Arthur Beterbiev as well. So after rewatching the fight, my scorecard is definitely a 7-5. I feel like Dimitry Bivol outboxed Arthur Beterbiev. Now, there were 2 rounds in there that could have went either way. So at most, if it wasn't a win for Dimitry Bivol, it should be a tie between Dimitry and Arthur Beterbiev. And I know how the scorecards looked, but I don't think those judges really were seeing what most people were seeing when it comes to the fight. Like some of those rounds that they say Arthur won, he definitely did not win. But it is what it is at the end of the day. It's boxing. It happens all the time. But yeah, and the CompuBox stats validate that Dimitry Bivol was winning, most rounds based on the amount of punches that he was landing. Although punches landed does not, mean that you won rounds, but it does kind of show that you are, kind of dominating in a way, So it does, add credence to what he was doing in those fights on top of all the other metrics that he was, winning in those rounds. But yeah, it is what it is. Well, that was the video. Thank you for coming to my channel. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.